All right. Well, welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. Today it's just myself, Rocky, and
me, Phil.
You got a little puberty happening there.
Like Keith kept catching me off guard with the intro.
I don't know how an intro catches you off guard.
We usually don't say our names. I mean, you're just trying stuff.
All right. So this episode, we're going to talk a lot about some IR report, but a lot about waiver wire pickups, people that we think could be surprises or maybe are worth a flyer this week. So, Phil, I'm going to have you lead the injury report section.
Yeah, we'll go through the injuries really quick. We've seen Stafford go down.
Yeah.
He cleared concussion protocol, so they're saying he's a go. I mean, he's probably a little banged up, but he's a full go.
Yeah, he got crunched, man. He got crunched.
Well, even worse than that was that Kyle Allen injury. I mean, it's pretty gruesome. But the impact it's going to have, I think Alex Smith he looked good besides the last two picks.
I mean, think about what you're saying.
It's like besides the shooting, Miss Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked good, and I think it's going to give McLaurin and Logan Thomas a tick up in their value.
Yeah. Who else got hurt, Phil? Talk about some running backs, because this was another bad week for running backs.
Montgomery.
Yeah,
concussion, right?
And he hasn't cleared it yet. He's still in the protocol.
No.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit later about who we think that might impact as far as picking up. But, he was a consistent, 20 snaps a game.
He's better than nothing.
That's right.
It's the motto.
Yeah.
Better than nothing. And I guess the big one was, you get McCaffrey back. I got McCaffrey back.
Killed it. Had a game it was a Delvin Cook game.
So happy.
Yeah.
Well, the Delvin Cook game, that's originally a McCaffrey game, actually. So
yeah, okay, we'll go there.
And then just rounding him.
But he's surprisingly, showed up as doubtful now. And it could change.
Yeah, shoulder.
It's a shoulder. Running backs need shoulders, Simple.
Yeah, for the most part. He's a tough guy, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he's active, depending, we don't know how serious it is, but, just keep an eye on that. And then, you got Mike Davis there you could pivot to if you need to.
Talk about that family, too. His brother's a quarterback in the Big Ten. His father
dad,
was I loved his father.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Denver Broncos.
Yeah, that was great. I like McCaffrey back in the day.
And then another running back, David Johnson, and it's still a little iffy. We're trying to figure out exactly how long, but it doesn't look good that he'll be back this week.
And I guess you got to go with the other Johnson.
That's right. Yeah,
Johnson and Johnson there. You're getting the lesser Johnson, but he's going to get the work. So
you do like your Johnsons. Quarterbacks. Big Ben got roughed up, but
he'll play.
Yeah. He plays through everything. You mentioned Stafford and you mentioned Allen. Those are two big ones. Good news, right? Good news is Nick Chubb, Miles Sanders, and Darrell Henderson are all
back,
set to come back. And in Cleveland, everybody's better when Chubb is there, including Kareem Hunt. It's a weird situation, but he clears the lane. He frees up some space for Mayfield to throw. And so I think it'll help a little bit Landry and Hunt, etc.
Yeah, I'm happy to get Sanders back, too. I got him in a couple leagues. So
yeah. Now, the negative thing about Mayfield, and first of all, if you're starting Mayfield, your season's done already. Let's just say, but if that's who you're starting, you do have to check. He is in the COVID protocol.
Yeah, he
was real close contact with somebody who tested positive.
Who's the backup there?
Backup is, I'm blanking now.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's good, actually. The gentleman from Washington.
Case Keenum?
Case Keenum, yeah. Yeah, he's Case, good. Yeah. I think Case is another guy. Like, I honestly feel the Browns would be more consistent with Case than Mayfield right now.
I don't know.
Hey, he went
if 14, you get good Case, if you get
14-2 with Minnesota.
Yeah, he's looked bad too, though. I mean, I guess.
But so is Mayfield, and he's taller. So, anyways.
He is taller.
All right, so we also can mention Noah Fant, who's injured, but I should be back. He should be okay.
Yeah. Fant he's going to see a little bit of a tick too.
Yeah.
Keep the guy's name. I keep forgetting the other tight end over there in Denver.
Yeah.
But he's out.
What does that do? So these people being injured, right? Of course, we know that if you got Mike Davis, pay attention, right? But what does it do to people you might want to pick up? And let's go first with running backs, right? So who would be some running backs that you would target? And we're assuming that your league is similar to our league, fairly deep with pretty bright people. So there's not a lot of
there's not a lot of meat
choices
left on the bone.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just round about back to Chicago.
Yeah, we like this one. This is an interesting one.
It's risky, but there's so much work available that it's kind of hard to not just throw a dart at the board here.
Got to mention Cordarrelle Patterson, who they say they're going to work into as a running back, but it's not showing up on the stat sheet. So as running back, we would not suggest you pick up him. Right.
Yeah, and they have Lamar Miller on their practice squad, and
he's interesting to me. I mean, this is a former starting running back, several teams, 1,000-yard back, pretty decent receiver too.
Yeah,
who's been injured. That's why he wasn't on the team, right?
Yeah, Nagy said, what was it, last week?
Yeah, he's looking better and better.
Looking better and better. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him activated this week.
Yeah. He would be the one. The other gentleman that they're kind of running is Ryan Nail, and I like him, but he didn't have anything prior.
Yep.
So I think they're going to probably go with a guy like Lamar Miller if he's healthy over somebody who's less proven.
Yeah, and if you need a guy to maybe pop into your flex or just a bye week fill-in, Nail might be a nice flyer. I mean, after Montgomery went down, he had 3 receptions. No carries, but
see, that's what scares me. That's why I would say, for me, I would go with Miller if he's healthy.
Yeah, I think Miller's the clear. Yeah, he's the top dog there as long as Montgomery's out, and then Nail's kind of just a pivot.
Yeah, in fact, I may have just tried to get him on my waivers, Lamar Miller. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, okay, what about other running backs? There's one I know that you are near and dear to, and that's Wayne Gallman.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman,
consistent.
Watch it. Yeah, he's consistent. He runs hard.
He does run hard.
He catches the ball. He does a little bit of everything. He's kind of a jack of all trades guy.
Yeah. And the Giants need the run game to help set up some of the passing.
I'll tell you what, since he's been the guy, he looks better than Freeman. And I'll be honest with you, he looks better than Saquon right now. And he's not more talented, any of that, but just
right now,
his style. I'm saying his style of running.
Yeah. Saquon does a lot of side to side. That's the issue. He's a Barry Sanders-esque.
Yeah. Well, it's if they had a better line, it'd be more conducive to what he's trying to do. Gallman is just he gets north-south.
Yeah.
He falls forward. I don't have numbers in front of me. I venture to say he's probably averaging 4 yards, maybe a little bit over 4 yards a carry.
Yeah. We can find that out.
Yeah. Look it up.
I got burnt last week by trying to tell people what somebody was averaging, and I didn't do a real good job, so we're going to look that up. Talk about, though, while we're doing that, Devontae Booker, because he's another interesting
Devontae
guy.
Booker, another guy. I mean, if you have Josh Jacobs like me in 2 leagues, you just get your heart broken looking at Booker take the touchdown and that you're hoping Josh Jacobs gets, because if Josh Jacobs doesn't get that touchdown, you're not having a good day. And I think it's time, if you could get something decent in return for Josh Jacobs.
Yep, just trade him.
I wouldn't mind trading him and picking up Booker if he's available.
I traded him for a magic bag of beans, a first-round pick, Tyreek Hill, and Melvin Gordon. I thought I got over only because I'm tired of Jacobs. You just for where I drafted him, he's got to be number 1 back. Hey, Wayne Gallman, 222 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 4.4 yard average. And last week it was actually a 4.9. So he's interesting.
He's running the ball, and for all the naysayers about the Giants, they are beginning to play better ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the stretch he puts together a pretty decent end of the season. So
the interesting thing about the National Football League, and they built it this way. They built it to be for there to be parity.
Yeah.
And so the difference between the Browns and the Ravens, it looks big, but it's not as big as you think.
No.
Same thing with the Giants. On any given week, they can step up and bite somebody.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Dallas game.
Yes.
I mean, we know Pittsburgh does that once a year, once or twice, go on the road and they play down to an opponent. So it's not surprising, but that happens a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned Devontae Booker, 33 attempts, 223 yards with a 6.8 yard average.
Yeah.
This past week, it was 8.5, actually. And when you're comparing that to Josh Jacobs for the season has 3.7 yard average. Just, he doesn't look great. Same line, everything.
Yeah, since his rookie, he hasn't looked the same that he looked in his rookie year, for sure.
Two other running backs I like a lot. If Duke Johnson is open in your league, grab him.
Yeah.
Because he's never been given number one running back opportunities. But he's a guy who a couple years ago with the Browns was a receiving threat and a running threat.
Yeah, I don't love him, but I mean, by default, he's the guy, and I don't see know who else is over there that's going to take that volume.
Well, and then the last one, and I hate even mentioning anybody from New England, but you might have to look at Rex Burkhead. You just might. He's touchdown dependent, but he runs at the goal line. So,
and how do you? I mean. Yeah, it's just so tricky. It's such a roll of the dice.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Patriots are a dumpster fire. They try to give that game away to the Jets, who I do think may be the worst team in the league.
No, they are the worst team in the league by far.
And it was a fight.
Yeah.
It was a fight, so.
Yeah, that was a strange game when I looked up at the score and I was like, wow.
All right. Yeah. So what about wide receivers? How do you feel about wide receivers?
Well, I'll go right back to my wheelhouse because I know you want to talk about that guy in San Fran. Another guy that the Giants just brought up, Austin Mack.
Oh, I love him.
Had a pretty good game for a first time. I mean, it is in conjunction with Golden Tate being asked to stay home, and he's not. They're not going to trade him. I could tell you just from following the team, that staff, they're not going to trade Tate, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's
jettisoned
running as the fourth wide receiver.
Yeah.
Austin Mack looked good. He had, I think, 5 targets, 4 catches, 72 yards, a couple contested catches. He looks
he was signed
apart.
He was a undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
But let me tell you about Austin Mack, and I was sharing this with you earlier. He played at Ohio State, one of the probably top 4 teams in the country historically as far as college football. He broke their all-time receiving record. The guy's a threat. He runs tremendous routes and is quick enough to get open.
He looked good.
He's a good young kid.
I mean, they did just sign Pettis off waivers, but
yeah.
I mean, the kid goes out there and makes some plays. I wouldn't, they're going to give him a shot here. So
he's nobody will outwork Austin Mack. Came back from 2 serious injuries with Ohio State and still ended up setting their record.
Yep.
So another guy you mentioned, Richie James.
Yep.
We're kind of hit or miss on the next one, Brashard Perryman or Denzel Mims. It's a toss-up.
So I'll just go. The reason I don't, for the rest of this, looking at them on the field, Mims looks like the better player to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And if I'm the Jets, if I'm looking at a guy I have on contract, I don't know, I think Perryman is a 1 year or 2 year deal.
Yeah.
And I got a guy drafted in the first round or second round, I mean.
You're probably going to give him the work.
You're probably going to just slant. I mean, this guy's going to be on the field, but you're probably going to slant the work towards Mims. And I think he just looks like the better player. And
I tell you what, the Jets look a lot better with Flacco. I mean, if you're looking for a flyer quarterback, you could do worse.
He didn't look like Flacco in Denver. That's
no,
for sure.
He looks no.
And but with Mims, it's just, especially if you're in Dynasty, and you had him and you got rid of him, or you could get your hands on him.
Yeah,
he looks like a player.
Yeah,
he's got size.
Yeah,
and just when you watch a guy play, the way he catches, the kind of catches he makes, the way he can kind of control his body.
Belongs.
Yeah, he reminds me like AJ Brown, a little bit bigger though. But
last one, I would say another Ohio State guy, Curtis Samuel. So Curtis Samuel was drafted, I think, by them in the second or third round a couple of years ago. They've struggled to figure out how to use him, but a lot of that was because Christian McCaffrey did everything well. Curtis Samuel at Ohio State was 2 or 3 rushing attempts per game. He threw the ball several times, and he caught a ton of catches, and they were similar catches to what McCaffrey catches. So he is somebody who's benefited with McCaffrey being injured, and with him being injured again, I think he's been wide receiver like 13 the last 4
McCaffrey
weeks.
came back and had a game, and he still did well. The only thing that worries me about Samuel is they have 2 other wide receivers. Moore's a good receiver. Anderson's been good too.
Yeah.
So, but if you need, it's not a bad pickup, a guy to have, and
he's a good third wide receiver,
and trending in his direction lately. Another guy I wanted to mention, I didn't mention beforehand, is Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, he's
the Bears, right?
Strung a couple good games together.
Yeah, he's had a few good games.
Looks like he's above Anthony Miller.
Yeah, it looks like it, and he's available in
most leagues. I think it's like 80%.
He's only owning about 23%. So you got last week he put up 18 points, only 9 this week, and their offense didn't look too great, but he's averaging around 4 catches a game on the year. So, if you're talking about your flex or just a guy for the bye weeks and maybe you get lucky, they catch lightning in the bottle, put your biscuit back in, and that offense gets rolling again. I don't know, but take a flyer on Mooney.
Tight ends, real quick. We're only going to mention it real quick because we want to get on to quarterbacks. We got a little bit more meat there.
Yep.
But we got Tyler Eifert, Logan Thomas, particularly if Alex Smith is the quarterback, he's going to look
they
for the dump off.
They named him the starter. So.
They did, yeah. So, and with his surgically repaired his robot knee,
his bionic,
he's going to look for a dump off. And then Irv Smith, you have to mention him because he had a good game. I mean, there's just nothing around it. So
2 catches, 2 touchdowns.
All right, quarterbacks. Lead me in the discussion of quarterback. What do you think?
Well, like I said before, I think Alex Smith's a great pickup. Just try to erase those 2 interceptions from your brain, and you'll be okay. But he looked good. He looked like Alex Smith.
Yeah, and when we forget, he had not just success; he had real success on several teams: Kansas City, San Francisco, and Washington. So he's a competent quarterback.
And then Tua.
Yeah, Tua.
He looked pretty good. He gets you some floor with his running.
He's finding his way for sure. He's figuring it out.
And that's a good team.
Yeah, they are.
It's a good team, good defense there, and the offense. They're going to score the ball. That's so he's not a bad pickup.
Another one would be Teddy Bridgewater. He's putting together a good season. He really is. He's not a name that rolls off your tongue. You don't think of him first, but he's been quarterback 12 to 8 most weeks.
Steady Teddy.
Anybody playing the Seahawks, the Falcons, or the Browns? Yeah, you mentioned the Seahawks and the Falcons.
Yeah. I think through the first 9 weeks of the season, I seen a stat where I think the Falcons are the second worst defense in history.
Yeah.
And only to be trumped by the first, which is the Seahawks. And, I think it's my favorite thing about the Seahawks. I love Russ. I love the offense. I love Metcalf. But just that Jamal Adams forced his way off the Jets to get to a contender. And he's on a contender, but to only be part of the worst defense in history, I think it's pretty
that's fair. It's
pretty funny.
And then if you're real deep league, if you're really struggling and you're desperate, Kirk Cousins is probably going to be out there, and then Drew Lock. Drew Lock will give you a solid fourth quarter.
Yeah. Especially if they'll be losing.
Yeah, they'll be losing. Yeah.
You have to throw it around. I mean, Cousins.
He's consistent. He's going to get you 10 to 15 points a game. It's better than nothing.
Yeah. He'll get, you could pencil him in for that. He's not going to win you a week, but he hopefully won't lose you a week.
He hasn't come close to winning anything. I think this week may have been one of his best weeks, and it still wasn't that pretty. It was, it was decent. He had 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. But, he's been very inconsistent this season up and down. But he's got a decent floor, and he's got a decent ceiling. So he's somebody who, what else too? I do feel like he's a good guy, just a good guy.
Well, I don't really care about that, but
I care.
What I'd say about him that worries me is he doesn't rush the ball, so you get no floor, and they got Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
So, those opportunities. I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns to Irv Smith this week, right? So you take that with a grain of salt, but 9 times out of 10, why, give the ball to Cook? I feel like it takes away at the goal line his chance to throw a touchdown.
All right, so I think that's it. That's we had, and as always, we're going to tell you guys that we love doing this. This is a passion of ours. We're not always right, but we're pretty damn smart, I think. So,
yeah, we put in the footwork, man.
Yeah, we do.
But yeah, we're not going to be right all the time. So
we're going to remind you, please watch us on YouTube. Go to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Download us, subscribe, and give us reviews. Tell us how we're doing. If you have questions about your sit and start, man, shoot them to us.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to record another episode Thursday, and anything we get on any of our social medias, we will answer your questions.
We will address it, for sure.
Still, it's been good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. All right.
When I sin, I fall straight to my knees. Yeah, it's like we holding on to what he's hating. Lacking luster from the Father, cause there's no relation. I'm told to tell you about a word from God, if not mistaken. That's why his name is always dropped in every conversation. I've been sold to his will hold. I'm falling short upon his glory, but let his will roll. Stand, they say I'm crazy, think I'm lunatic. They say my head's up in the clouds only when I'm on my trip.